Airport wait times are improving. Absences among the nation's 50,000 TSA security officers fell sharply Monday. Workers receiving pay after 6 weeks without a paycheck, following an executive order signed by President Trump on Friday. The Homeland Security Department said the absence rate fell to 8.6% after rising as high as 12.4% on Friday. Meanwhile, nearly 500 agents quit during the record-long shutdown. ICE agents remain deployed at airports to assist with basic tasks like ID checks and exit security. President Trump telling the New York Post he is now considering forcing Congress back for a rare session to end the DHS funding lapse. I want to bring in Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. Secretary, good morning.
Good morning, Cheryl. Thanks for having me.
So you have been, of course, a secretary that has been, of course, going across the nation to all the airports, and especially recently with these long TSA lines. How are things today, in your opinion? How much better have things gotten?
So, I mean, even going back in the last Democrat shutdown, they've had two historic shutdowns. And that's when the big story was air traffic controllers. And it feels like Democrats just want to use the American people as tools, as leverage points, as hostages to get what they want after they lost the last election. And so as I travel, I mean, again, it was getting bad. But, you know, thank goodness the president said, you know what, I'm not going to let the Democrats do that any longer to the American people. It's spring break. Families are traveling. And he took decisive action. It's getting better. So, again, we saw some airports. We were up to, 3 and 4 hour lines. But those lines are coming down. I think the longest I've seen is 40 minutes. ICE has been a huge help, as Democrats were trying to say ICE is going to be horrible and America's going to hate them. They're out there passing out water, helping people through the lines. They've been a godsend as we've navigated, these Democrat problems they're full problems. We shouldn't have them, but Democrats again can't get their act together.
Well, yes, Tom Homan saying that that ICE agents are going to stay on. I mean, what kind of time frame would you be comfortable with?
With ICE staying on, listen, I think they should be there as long as they're needed. And if until we get a fully staffed, fully funded DHS, if we have some capabilities at ICE, I think Tom Homan, Mark Wayne Mullen is smart to say, we're going to use every resource we have to make sure that every American system works as well as possible. We're not a third world nation, Cheryl. We should be able to actually navigate our TSA lines. We should be able to screen people. We should be able to do it fastly, get them through the airport to their airplanes and let them fly to their destinations. The last thing an American traveler wants to think about when they're traveling is their government and the dysfunction of their government. They're either thinking about the great vacation they're going on or the business trip, and they're thinking about, the presentation, or they're coming home from a trip to go see their family. They don't want to think about Democrats holding them hostage. So President Trump is going to, I think, give a directive that says, hey, we're going to put every resource on the job to make sure we get this as back to normal. And when that happens, then, we'll peel off those resources.
Okay, fair enough. Let's get into the shutdown, because you have a unique vantage point here, because you served in Congress from 2010 to 2019. Now, as the Transportation Secretary, funding for DHS certainly is connected to what we're seeing with the TSA agents. What do you make of the fact, again, that President Trump is saying that he's going to force Congress to come back to open up the department?
Well, I think the president rightfully is expressing frustration when you have members of Congress who don't do their job, specifically Democrats, and then they break. And then this is Holy Week. This is the standard time that Congress does break. They go back with their families, and a lot of faithful people live in the Congress, and they celebrate this week. It's the most important week of the year for Christians. So I have to imagine he's sensitive to that, but when you get to go on vacation, but people travel during this season, and they have to endure extra pain because of inaction by Democrats, I think that's a frustrating point for President Trump. And so maybe it's like, listen, if you want the American people to suffer, maybe you too in Congress should suffer as well. And I think, Cheryl, we can't forget we're in a conflict with Iran. We can't forget that Joe Biden let 12, 15 million people into this country, people that were not, we didn't do background checks. We didn't verify who they were. We know that bad hombres have got into the country. And so it begs the question, now more than ever, Do we need homeland security when we're in this conflict with Iran and we know people are willing to take action who are loyal to Iran or to an ideology, whether they're taking up guns or bombs? Yeah, this is the time when you want this agency to be fully functioning. There might be other times where we feel like there's less stress and pressure in the country, but not now. And at this moment, not taking action and funding Homeland Security begs the question, I think, do you love your country? Do you care about your people? Do you care about the people you represent? More than the political fight that you want to have with Republicans. And I think resoundingly the answer to that is no, they don't care more about the American people and their safety and how much time they spend in airports.
You know, speaking of funding, let's talk about this, because since you came into this role last year, getting the funding to upgrade air traffic control, the system, the towers, et cetera, has been top of list for you, top of mind. There was another TRACON outage. I want to ask you about that. We've also had 2 more recent incidents at airports. We, of course, had that Air Canada jet crash at LaGuardia late Sunday night. That was, well, I want to get any updates that you can give us on that. If the NTSB investigation is ongoing, we know it is. And also, you had another incident out at John Wayne Airport in Orange County between a commercial jet and a Black Hawk helicopter, which gave many, of course, a memory of what happened at Reagan last year. Any updates that you can give us on those 2 incidents, and also about just in general, you know, getting the modernization, you know, further on track and down the line, which is very important to you, I know.
Yeah, so in these investigations, again, I have a lot of information. We provide information to the NTSB. The agreement we have with them is we step back and let the NTSB do the investigation, and we let them put the information out in regard to these investigations. And then at one point, they'll make recommendations. But I think what you're touching on is a far bigger point. And I've tried to tell the American people for the last year, we have an incredibly antiquated air traffic control system. You know, we use copper wires. We're on analog. We use paper strips. I mean, things that you would think of from the 70s and 80s as the equipment that we use. So the Congress gave me $12.5 billion. We are going to have that $12.5 billion spent within the next 2.5 years. And just by the way, you know this and your viewers know this. I can't snap my fingers and lay fiber across the country. I can't update every tower in the matter of months. It takes us time, and we're in the process of doing that right now, and you're going to see rolling results of that as these jobs are completed. But here's the most important thing, is the software that controls the airspace. We're using a Windows 95 genre of software, Windows XP genre of software, and the advancements over the last 25 and 30 years has been remarkable. We need new software, and there's nothing off the shelf that we can buy because no one has an airspace like ours. So we have to develop a new software package that can manage our airspace way more efficiently. It'll be way safer, and then with all the technology we're putting in, you know, give alerts and warnings as airplanes are flying. It will be a state-of-the-art system, but I'm going to need another $7 to $10 billion from Congress to do that. And so every time I talk to a senator or a congressman, whatever they talk about, they want a bridge or a road. I'm like, that's great. We'll talk about that. But then I say, give me $10 billion more. Yeah. And it's going to take us time. We can't do this. Develop software, debug software, deploy software, and then train on the software in 6 months. It's going to take us some years to do it. And so we need the money now because the American people deserve to have the best system in the world. I don't want you to wait or be delayed because of air traffic controllers. You want to get on your plane, push back, taxi out to the end of the runway, take off, fly to your destination, land, and go home or go to your destinations. Right. And that's what we're working on. But Congress has to be that partner with me and give me the cash.
The work continues, and, of course, training of air traffic controllers, again, which came up with the issue at LaGuardia. Before you go, I do want to ask you about your other job, of course, and that is with NASA. Artemis 2, that's that 32-story space launch system rockets blasting off, 10-day mission around the moon. The crew, 4 astronauts, going to be first to head towards the lunar orbit since Apollo 17. That was 50 years ago, Secretary. You're attending the launch today, so tell us more about this.
So first off, this is a wildly exciting day. I had the privilege of spending 4 months as the acting administrator of NASA with the crew. They're some of the nicest people. So smart. You put the picture up. They're smart, but really wonderful personalities. They've been training for years for this mission. So this is important. Artemis 2, we're going out around the moon and back. And if you ask, well, why are we doing that? Well, we're actually in a race with the Chinese to see who can get back to the moon first next. Now, we're going to go back. China China's going to go for the first time. We're going to get back to the moon in 2028, and we're going to land this time. We're going to go to the South Pole. At the South Pole, there's ice. Ice is oxygen. Ice is water. Ice is life. We're going to set up a base, and what we learn on the moon is going to help us get to Mars. I mean, this is exploration. This is American space dominance. It used to be he who controls the seas controls the world. Now it's he who controls space controls the world. So today is a really exciting day, a really important step for us to get back to the moon landing and then put in a base on the moon and moving technology and exploration from there.
All right. Well, we're going to be watching, of course. It's going to be an exciting day. Secretary Sean Duffy, thank you for being here. It's great to see you again.
You too, Cheryl. Thank you.
All right. Come back anytime.